Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Pros here on Echo Means Business. Today I have the good fortune to be speaking again with Chris Horning. Welcome, Chris.
Hello.
So Chris was one of our pro panelists on one of our Thursday night live sessions, which was about part-time work, full-time business in the green industry. For those of you that are interested in listening to the full thing, go over to our pro resources section or our podcast. You can listen to that. But Chris, there was a lot of great insights that you shared, and so I thought you deserved a little bit of spotlight.
Well, thank you.
So let's try with that. Let's first get everybody to know your business. So tell us a little bit about your business, how you started, where you operate, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I started my business back in '07, and it came about just because of being laid off during the recession and needing to provide for my growing family, younger growing family at the time, and wanting something to work as something that would be more stable. And so I guess what I ventured into is started with mainly just mowing, but then it grew as you get customers and yard maintenance, mulching, whatnot. And I started out initially solo, but then as my oldest son, got into his high school years, he started joining me and working part time. And so over the years, growing a family business. But we and then now it's currently my two oldest sons and me working full time together most of the year. But we focus on yard maintenance, mowing, mulch, hedge trimming, weeding. Not really into the irrigation or anything like that. Just I tell people we're your yard handyman. You got a larger property, need assistance. Also, I focus on. I try to find the larger properties and focus on full service. Like there might not be that real dense route density with a lot of smaller yards, but spread out. But you have acre, 2 acre plus properties with, you know, all the service. And I found that, that's really worked for us in the last 5 or 6 years. We just continue to grow annually, even during the pandemic at 20 some percent annual growth. And, we've just found our niche. And, we'll take on, anything like even like some weeding, some of those, kind of jobs that most larger companies are like, we don't want to deal with that. And, just kind of just help people out. So, and it's come back through word of mouth, from, customers. We also here I should say I'm in the Ann Arbor area. I live just south of Ann Arbor in Saline, and it's a nice area because there's with the University of Michigan and the hospital and Eastern Michigan. There's just a lot of professionals that have larger properties, and they just don't have the time. And we found even last year, even during the pandemic, people are at home, but they're still busy. I mean, they're tied up with meetings. It's just at home, and they don't want to spend the weekends working on their lawn. They're just like, if you provide good service and affordable price, they're like, hey, sign me up.
Mm. I find it
Yeah,
fascinating that very few people will say, I needed a more stable business, and so I went into the green industry.
exactly. Well, I was like, I was always a
What were you doing
hardworking.
before? Robbing banks? How is this more
Yeah.
stable than whatever you were doing
No,
before?
but what I found is that when you're working for somebody else, it's all good until the economy or their business goes bad for them. And as much as they like you and they give you the accolades and they give you the monthly, you're the employee of the month. The bottom line is if they see they can't afford you, you're you're out the door. It might be nice out the door and with a parting gift, but you're at the end of the day to them. Unfortunately, you fall to the accounting list, the budget, whatever, and as nice as you are, they're like, we can't afford X amount of employees, so you're not as important as some of the essential people we need. And I found that out, in the early 2000s. And
Hmm.
they just said, we're shrinking. And so what that meant for a lot of smaller businesses is the guy above you wore more hats or, took more duties. And I knew at the time, it was an indefinite layoff, which was more or less definite, but they just said indefinite.
Yeah.
And, and also during this time, I also, between the my starting my lawn service, I was also doing side work like pizza delivery. So you kind of blend everything and work nights at pizza, days at mowing, and until you reach a point, and and I'm like any small business, I'm getting there. I still not where I want to be. I want to try to make this like just like I said in the the other interview we had with this part time is like it's it's almost there, but not quite. It's like, especially here in southeastern Michigan, even though people say, oh, you're up north, you're in the Midwest, the snow business is kind of sketchy unless you're maybe in commercial and salting. If you're residential, like the last 2 winters, we've had 5 total snow events that are 2 or more inches. So you
Wow.
get the snow, but you get it in like, oh, well, they were calling for 4 inches and we got a half inch. Well, residential customers, they're like, we can deal with that. That'll melt off tomorrow, unless it's something kind of annoying to drive in and packs down. They say, well, we'll just wait till the next event. And so you find yourself in that, December to March area where the income from a lawn business, is unless you're really building it the other 9 months, 8 or 9 months. So
Yeah, no, I
it
hear
isn't
that.
that stable, but yeah.
So, do you consider yourself full-time or part-time?
I consider myself at this point, I probably 3/4.
Okay. We're
Three,
going to create a
kind of
new
a sort,
category.
not like a true part time, but you need that little extra, like, um, little extra 2 or 3 months of maybe finding a which I was already before doing this business doing pizza. I do the pizza delivery just during the winter months because it's flexible. So it can work around like, the snow business, and I usually work evenings, and a lot of times when you find yourself doing a snow event, it's early morning or morning. Like it'll snow during the night, so I'm done at midnight or 1 o'clock. So unfortunately now when it is a snow event, you don't get much sleep that 24 hours, but it is
Yep.
something flexible that you work around. And there's times where, I can adjust the schedule if I know a snow event's coming, like with somebody else at the play at the pizza delivery or whatever. They'll, I've worked there long enough. They work with me, so it's kind of a good partnership. So
Most of the guys that I've done and women that I've done interviews with that have other gigs are often saying that they'll do snow removal like you do,
yeah.
or they'll do window cleaning, or
Hmm.
in the wintertime they move into renovations because that's where they can work indoors. They're not going to have to be
Yeah.
outdoors. You're the first who's ever said I do pizza delivery
Oh,
as,
okay.
as my winter gig. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's just it's always worked for me. Now, my goal is to get out of that, and I think um, I might try to, with my 2 sons working with me, even maybe find another company to work with to so we can all just to bring in overall enough income.
Hmm.
Me kind of like, I guess, contract myself out, because I just people have asked me, well, why don't you go more in and get in commercial? And I don't know, that's kind of a tricky thing because you need once you go commercial, you need enough equipment, trucks, because you have to be on it. With residential, I have a mix of enough retired people and with workers that I can kind of do my route. So I hit. Not everybody needs to be out at 6 o'clock or cleared out. And so, you kind of can juggle that with commercial. They want, if they're open at 8 or 9, you got to be there. And I mean, I know they're somewhat flexible, but just that pressure. And then I've found like my business is almost entirely residential, and I like that. I mean, I know I'm not saying that working with all commercial businesses and stuff can, but I like I don't know, just the neighborhood type, talking to the person as opposed to working with a corporation or an office or talk to our business office. And I just heard stories where, sometimes there can be situations, issues like, it's less personal. I guess I love the personal aspect of this lawn and landscape industry, and we've continued to build good or had good growth, and so I like to just stay in that vein as long as I can.
How many properties do you do in a week now?
Right now we do 3 full days of mowing. So we have the three of us. So we probably, and I have a blend. I actually live in a mobile home community, double wide community, and we probably have about 20 20 customers here within the community I live in.
Oh,
And I know some people say, shoot for a minimum of how much you do a yard, but we do everybody for $25 because we're talking 5,000 square foot that your house is at. And with a 1,500 to 1,800 square foot home and a pad, you're not cutting much lawn,
yeah.
and we can do 20 or 25 in less than 2 hours. So when you start talking about hourly, rates, we can make 200, 250 an hour.
Yeah. Well, that's the root density that you said that you were avoiding.
Yeah. So I do it here just because it's nice because we can just start our day and,
Yeah.
hit this and then go out and the rest of our community. But I would say probably 60% of my customers, we probably have a total of somewhere close to 100 customers now. But probably 60 or 70% are half acre, 2 acre plus
A
properties with,
lot of the guys that I interview in Texas, that's their thing. They said leave the subdevelopments to whoever. They want the bigger properties because they figure they'll do fewer properties, but they'll make more money while
yeah.
they're on those properties because of all the services that they do. Let's move to something a little bit more personal, less about
Okay.
business. You're working with your kids.
Yes.
How has that been for you?
That's been overall, it's a blessing. Now, anytime though, when you work with family, it can be somewhat challenging because it's that balance, like when you're somebody you just hire on, I think you can be at times a little not mean but firmer or whatever. It's kind of a balance thing, when it's family you kind of have to know how to walk the line to, whatever
Yeah.
this the exact saying is. And so, but overall it is overall nice because I think there's more of a they understand things and respect the equipment and whatnot. It's like we're all part of a team. It's the family. It's dad. It's whereas not that I've only one time for a summer when my oldest son went out of the country, needed somebody, and that worked out okay. But you know, I could see where if you're having outside people a lot and rotating people, you're always in the back of your mind, especially if you're not able to be with them and they're on another crew, is like, are they giving the same attention? Are they giving the same detail? Are they respecting my equipment? What actually happened? Why did that break? And you're always, so you have that. And I don't know, I feel really good. We bust out a real good day of work and it's just kind of like, yeah, you know,
I wanted to touch on that subject
yeah.
because if your kids are anything like mine, I can't even say good morning without getting massive attitude. I can't imagine, having them in my workplace where I'm giving them instructions all day long.
Well, there is that too at times, but overall, it's been good. I mean, and now like with with even my second oldest that started working with us, I think back the start of 17. We've been a team now for a while, so we've kind of hopefully worked out things. And there's not as much, we're on the same page more, I guess.
Well, I gotta say that there was a difference. I've noticed a difference in your eyes and your smile when you started talking about your kids working
Yeah,
with you than when we first started talking about business
no,
in general. So clearly, you're proud of your kids and you're happy to
Yeah.
work with them. So that's got to mean something.
Yeah, it does. And and it's like I don't know how long, I think my oldest son will probably it sounds, stay with me. But my second oldest, he's doing it right now. He's 23, so he's kind of in that age where, I don't know if he'll do it part-time or
Mhm.
and but it's just, it's going to be great memories and camaraderie and working together and something, it's working together like that as a family. So
How the season's been going? Good for you so far? Good weather?
the season has been, but up here in Southeast Michigan, it's been too rainy the last, like, especially 3 4 weeks, and especially not so much here where I live in Ann Arbor, but just east of here over in Detroit, they've had a lot of like flooding, and it's even today it's like been off and on rain, and in so it's been challenging. It's been challenging just to keep up with things, and it seems like one week we finally get our mowing schedule caught up, and then the next week it's off and then bumped into the next week, and then or a mower goes down or a trailer, and you're just when but I mean, I know that's the way with small business can be, you're juggling things and equipment, but it's like this has been probably, we thought last year was going to be a challenge with COVID and whatnot, and that actually turned out to be real well. But this year, with all the rain the last few weeks here and equipment issues, we've been like juggling and struggling to try to keep on with the schedule. And one week we get the mowing route all done, and then the next week it's bumped to a week and a half. So, but
Well,
that is,
that's why at the beginning of this conversation, when you said I was looking for a more stable job, I chuckled to myself because if it's not COVID, it's the rain or it's equipment
yeah.
problems. There's always something in this industry that keeps you on your toes.
It does. But overall, yeah, I guess for me, when I think stable is like, it's like I'm captaining my own ship, and it's all up to me. It's like if I do good work, do a good job, and have good rapport with my customers, and they understand that I'm there to do the best job. When situations come or you're delayed a week or weather, they know that it's like, man, he wants to be out here. He's gonna be out here as soon as he can. Whereas
Yeah.
the guy that gives shoddy work, doesn't show up, they're like, do we want to keep this guy? I know the weather's bad, but he was untrustworthy last year when it was perfectly
Yeah.
good weather. And so I like that. It's like it's on me. It's up to me. It's about me. It's not about the company or the parent company of the company saying we got to close this plant or we got to close this business.
So it's funny because it's been doing a lot of rain, but you said you've been getting a lot of rain, but it's
Yes.
you that hasn't stopped you from getting the green industry pros tan with the white forehead and the
Yes,
red
that
nose and
like
cheeks.
up here more with the hat, but and
Yeah,
then I mean I don't know if you can see the
the
arms,
farmer
but once you
tan in
get
full effect.
yeah, it's like I take my shirt off. It's like, oh, you got the t-shirt on though, and the legs are white. It's only the arms and the head and the neck.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's just like everybody else in this industry is like that. I get it.
Yeah,
Listen, it's been a great chatting with you. I love
yeah.
to see the pride that you have in your work and
Thank you.
the joy that you have in business ownership. I think that's really inspiring, hopefully, for a lot of people who are listening and are looking to get into this. So, for those of you, check out the information. If you're reading this or watching this on our site, listening to it on our podcast, check out the details and you can find Chris's social profiles. Please reach out to him. He's also got a profile on Echo Means Business if you guys want to follow each other and chat there. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe or join Echo Means Business. If you're first time here, it's free membership and you get a lot of benefits, including connecting with guys like Chris. So, Chris, really appreciate your time today. I hope we'll get the chance to chat again.
Oh, thank you. I hope we do too. Look forward to it.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Good night.